How to convert any 2D image into a 3D textured mesh without modeling it in Blender. Alright, so the first step is going to be to delete everything we got in the scene. We can just select it all, press X, and delete the selected objects. After that, we can press 7 so that we can be on the top orthographic. And from here, we can simply drag and drop our reference image. Let's drop it here. And we need to center it to the center. We can just press N, go to item, and we can left click and drag down. We can press 0 and press enter. So this way our reference image is going to be centered. So the next step is going to be to convert it into a mesh plane. So we can just do right click right here and go to convert to mesh plane, and we can just click on OK. Alright, so now we got the same dimensions as our main reference image. So the next step is going to be to add the displace modifier. So we can just left click to select our plane, and we can jump to the modifiers over here, and we can add a new modifier. It's going to be the displace modifier. After that, we need to load the texture that we got. So back here to the texture properties, we can just click on U and open new image. And we can just double click on this Prima logo. So now it's loaded. So next what we have to do, we have to subdivide our plane. So we can select it, switch to the edit mode from here. And we can press A to select, make sure that all these vertices are selected. We can press Ctrl E and subdivide. And here for this panel, we can just increase the number of cuts to, let's say, 50. Alright, so let's go back to the objects mode. So the problem is that this logo is duplicated multiple times. So what we need to do, we have to make it only once. So we can just jump back to the modifiers inside the displace modifier. For these coordinates, we can change it from local to UV. So now it's only one, it's printed only once. Also here for the strength, I like to invert it to the other side, something like this, minus 0.25. There we go. And from here, all we have to do is to keep subdividing. So on the edit mode, we can press Ctrl E, subdivide. Let's subdivide 3 times. Or if your computer can handle it, we can take it up to 4 or even 5. So let's go back to the objects mode. There we go. So we can see it. It looks better. So the next step is going to be to apply the displace modifier so that we can clean up our logo. So we can just press 1 to be facing the front. And I'd like to delete the base. So here I'm switching to the wireframe so that we can see through our plane. So I'd like to select only the base, this base here. We don't need it, don't need this geometry here. You can press X, delete those vertices. Same thing for these, let's just delete them. There we go. Same thing here on the side. Let me just select that part and delete it. So after that, we need to get rid of these residues. So what we can do, we can press A to select everything, try S, Z to scale on the Z, and we can press 0. So this way we're going to be flattening our logo. So the next step is going to be to optimize our logo. We need to get rid of this geometry in the middle because we don't need it. So what we can do, we can select everything by pressing A, and we can extrude it up by pressing E like this. After that, we can just left click anywhere else so that we can deselect all the geometry, and we can jump to select, and we can select only the sharp edges, these sharp edges. But I only need one sharp edge, either the top or the bottom. So I'm going to just deselect the bottom. You can press Z, switch to the wireframe, press B for the box select, hold shift and deselect the bottom like this. Alright, after that, we can press Shift D to duplicate this part and drag it to the right side. And after that, we can press P to separate selection. I'd like to separate this part here. So the next step is going to be to smooth out these edges. So with this part selected, we can jump here to the smooth modifier, and we can keep increasing it up. So for example here, let me just take it up something like this, and we can increase the repetitions up until we got something smooth. So round 9 looks fine. So now it's smooth. We can just apply this smooth modifier, and after that what we need to do, we have to reduce the poly count because we have a lot of geometry. For example, we can just get rid of this entire part and just have a straight line. So what we can do, we can press A to select everything, and we can jump to edge, and here we have the unsubdivide option. You can just click on it, and I'd like to increase it up, but here you need to be careful because if you take it too much, you're going to be losing a lot of geometry. So I think around 2, it's going to be fine. You can just leave it like this. Alright, so now it's time to fill these spaces. So you can press A and press F to fill it. So now if you switch to the solid, so it's filled, but we have some problem with the P and the A. So these 2 letters, they have some gaps in between at the center. So let me just revert back. We can keep pressing Ctrl Z. So we can just fill the parts, these parts here, by pressing F. And for these letters, you can just select this part like this. and we can press Alt F. Alt F instead of just F. Same thing here, Alt F. There we go. Alright, so now we got it. I'd like to just delete this previous work. I'm gonna just press X and delete it, and let's focus completely on this. So this one, the next step, I'd like to extrude it down, so we can add here the solidify modifier, and we can increase the thickness down. But we have the A is extruded upward, so we can invert it. Let me just press L to grab it, and we can try Shift N to flip it downside. There we go. And as a last step, you can just do right click, shade auto smooth to smooth out the edges. And the last step, I like to add the bevel modifier to bevel these sharp edges. So let's add here the bevel modifier. Let me just find it. This one here, the amount. So the amount is really hard to add. So we can do some cleanup. So on the edit mode, we can press A to select everything, press M and delete by distance or merge by distance. So in this case, if we have close vertices, we can get rid of them. I'd like to increase this merging distance, something up 0.001. So 9 vertices are removed, and you can see that we have now the bevel. Let me just increase these segments up, something like 5 or 6. So now we have some beveling on the edges. They are not very sharp. And basically that's it. You can also switch the view shading to matte cap. I prefer this one right here. And basically this is it. This is the way to convert our 2D logo into 3D model without modeling it in Blender 5.